Hello, everyone. Happy 2025. This is also year 2 of the Remember to Live podcast. I am here, of course, with my warm drink, and I am ready to dig in. Just about a year ago, I recorded my very first Remember to Live podcast episode on my birthday. My birthday is a week after New Year's, so I always spend this first week of the year really reflecting on and looking back at the previous year and being very, very intentional about what I want to create in the coming year. And one of my favorite practices to do this is picking a word of the year. I use that word as an anchor, as kind of my theme for the year. I always have it where I can see it. It's a reminder of what I really want to get out of the year. And on my birthday episode last year, I talked about my word for the year being leap. It is one of my most listened to episodes on the entire podcast so far. And the word the year before was ease. And there's a lot I learned in these past 2 years. The first being ease. It was my first year after leaving my corporate career. I really felt that I needed some downtime. I needed to feel like things were easier. I always put a lot of pressure on myself as I was building my career in corporate, being a single mom of 2 kids, feeling like I needed to take care of everything and everyone. There was just this heavy pressure and weight. And I just wanted things to feel easy. So I took a slow year. I allowed myself to ease into everything that I did. And after that year, I kind of got a fire under my belt or whatever the saying is to do more. Because as I reflected during that down year, I realized that for most of my career, most of my life, I held myself back. I kept myself small. I kept myself in the boxes I thought I was supposed to be in, to be successful, to do all the things that society told me I should do. And I realized that far too many times I held myself back. And that's what led me to my word being leap for 2024. And leap I did. I invested more in myself last year than I have in my entire life. I'm talking about all areas, but especially financially. See, as my kids were growing up, I didn't hesitate to find whatever way I needed to invest in the things I thought were important to them, to invest in their experiences, to invest in their learning, to invest in their development. But when it came to me, I always found an excuse not to spend the money on myself. I always found a reason why I didn't deserve it or I put it on my someday list. And so during my year of leap, I said yes and took the leap on everything that I wanted to do, everything I wanted to learn, every program I wanted to invest in, every trip that I wanted to take, every experience that I wanted to experience. I just said yes. And I did it without my big corporate paycheck, without the feeling of a cushion. I did it while building 2 businesses, while the back of my mind whispered, you shouldn't do this. I took the leap and I invested in myself. And by doing so, I had experiences that transformed who I am. I also traveled out of the country more than I ever have in 1 year in my life. And the funny thing is, I realized that all of the vacations I've ever taken in my entire life while I had a corporate career, I never actually took the vacation. I never actually shut down. And so being on these vacations where I wasn't constantly checking emails, I wasn't constantly checking in on a team, I wasn't constantly thinking about what could be going wrong or who needed me in the back of my mind, that I allowed myself to just be there and be present and be in the experience was also life-changing. I also took a different kind of leap. I've been a caretaker to my mom for several years. And at the beginning of last year, I knew that I could no longer take care of her myself in my home. Her health and her dementia was getting to a point where she needed better care, but I also realized she needed a community. She needed more social interactions, and she just wasn't going to get that sitting at home in her chair with nobody around. And so I made the leap of finding a really great place for her to move into assisted living, something that she never wanted to do, that I told her I would never do, but I did. And it's been the best thing for her at this stage in life. Though she continues to lose her independence and she continues to lose pieces of herself, she still has the ability to go play bingo every day and go socialize and laugh and have friends and live a life. And that's what it's all about, right? Even though the idea of having to pay for assisted living and the ridiculousness that elder care is in America felt like a huge leap, I knew it was the thing that I needed to do for not only my mother, but for me. And so that leap was also life-changing. I also invested the most in my home that I've ever invested. All those big projects that sit on the someday list in the one day when I'm going to do this, I'm going to redo the basement, I'm going to paint the house, I'm going to all those types of projects. I just went ahead and did them. And I realized that I'm living in my house now. I'm not holding the house over there for someday when I'm going to move in and be in the house that I want. Like I'm actually living in it now. And so I wanted to create the space that I wanted to be in now. I live here, I work here, I experience every day here. And so I invested in the things that I wanted to do to create the space that I wanted to be in. And I also took some big leaps in my businesses, trying out new things, pivoting based on my gut, allowing myself to fail and fail forward so I could get the clarity on the work I really wanted to do in this world. And I got so much clarity this year. I am so excited about all of the things that are going to be birthed in 2025. And while all these big leaps had a huge impact on my life, I also realized that the little ones did too. The tiny shifts, the small daily decisions, the first steps, all these little shifts that also made my life so much better. And that's what led me to my word for this year, which is better, because that's what we're all really trying to do, right? Is be a little bit better every day. Find these small ways to make our lives better. Find these ways to feel better, to be better. The verb definition of better is to improve. And that's my focus for this year, to improve myself a little bit every day, to be a little better every day, to make my life a little better every day, to show up a little better every day, to leave the people and the places that I touch a little better than I found them, to hold myself to a higher standard each day because I've finally reached the point in my life where I feel that I'm worthy. I've finally reached the point in my life where I truly understand my worth and my value. But I also know that it doesn't end there, that the work continues, that the journey is the thing. So my goal is to be a little better every day and to help you do the same. I even started a newsletter focused on better. So check out the show notes if you're interested in that. So my question for you as we head into this new year is, what are the little things you can do to make your life better? What are the small things and the tiny shifts you can do to make each day better, to make each interaction better, to make each moment better? And also, what's your word for the year? What's resonating with you? What is your theme going to be? I'd love to hear it. Send me a DM on IG, it's just my name, Corinne Canty, or find me on LinkedIn, or email me, or in whatever way you feel like reaching out. I would love to hear and be inspired by you. So that's all as I kick off this second year of the Remember to Live podcast. Thank you to everyone who has spent the first year with me. Thank you for the notes and the feedback. I so appreciate this community. I'm so excited about the topics and the guests that we have lined up for this year. Life is too short to end up with a pile of regrets. Let's remember to live. Wishing everyone an amazing 2025.